What's going on, fam? How we doing this morning? Listen, today we're going to be talking about heart posture and how much it does matter to the Lord. And we're going to be coming out of the Old Testament in 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7, specifically talking about heart posture. Okay, and then we're going to work our way around it so we can bring it in and come to a close. 1 Samuel 16, verse 7. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not look at his appearance or at his physical stature, speaking of King David's brother, because I have refused him, for the Lord does not see as man sees. For man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. So in this story, Samuel is coming, a servant of the Lord. He is coming to anoint a king. And this is when King David was the youngest brother, and he was out there tending the sheep, and he was not one to be thought of as a king, not one to be thought of as someone that the Lord could use for anything, but just someone who was off the weaker vessel. But if you know anything about the Bible and you know anything about God, he chooses those who are least likely to lead in positions of a magnitude that he has to get a job done. We'll take Moses. He had a stuttering problem, like I do sometimes, We'll take King David, right? He took care of the sheep. He was scrawny. He was small. He wasn't looking like the perfect person to go out there and fight the battles that were going to be set up for him to fight. But because God looks at the heart posture, he looks at the inner and not the outer, not what these clothes look like, not what we physically look like. He looks at the heart posture. The Bible tells us that God sees our hearts before we are with him. And before we even know him, he knows the desires. He knows what our hearts think, what they want, and how they feel. And without God, our heart is wicked above all else. But with God, he will give you the desires of your heart. But your heart's desires must align with his will for your life. So understand that if we are going to look at people and judge them based on the outward appearance, we're not operating the way God does, because God doesn't operate the way we do. He rises and builds people and exalts people in areas and positions of life based off of our heart posture. Everything is about the heart with the Lord, which is why even with Jesus, even with salvation, it says you must confess with your mouth, right? And believe in your heart that you will be saved. Understand, your heart, this muscle that beats in your chest, this is where the Lord is going to be able to tell whether you are equipped or even primed or ready to go ahead and, number one, receive his word, receive his salvation that only he gives, and receive the call on your life that you were born with from the beginning of time. But you have to have an unhardened heart to receive the word and receive the seed that it might plant in your heart and give you a motion to move on that seed. God looks at the heart posture because this is how he knows that he can trust you. So even though you might be looking like someone who is certified, OG, GQ, holies of holies, right? You might know all the language like we talked about before. You might look the part. But if your heart is evil and wicked, if the desires of your heart do not align with God, he will not touch you. He will not use you. He will let you do your thing. But guess what? At the end of the day, there will be a time where you will be judged, not by me, not by man, but by God. Heart posture matters because that's where transformation starts. And that's where the Lord knows that he can put you here, take you there, and allow you to be anointed and in the position that he has for you and that he had from you since birth. But it's up to you to let go of this world and align your will with his, because his will over our wants is what's going to get us to that level of being able to walk in authority with him. So just like King David was chosen out of all of his brothers, looking like the weaker vessel, looking like someone who could never be used by God, we need to make sure our heart posture is the same way as King David's. When he was young, when he was this person that was fully dependent on God, fully aligned with God, he cared more about God and his will and less of his own and his desires. When your will aligns with God, that heart posture is seen, and the Lord loves that posture, and he will come and use you as long as you are willing to fully depend on him. Heart posture matters to the Lord. Make sure yours is ripe, that you might be able to receive the seed and align your faith, your wants, your desires with his. Amen. Much love to your family. God bless. And as always, Lord willing, we'll talk soon.